Whether you are new to the game or you have a scoring goal like breaking 100, 90, or 80, an essential part of scoring is having distance control with your wedges. So 70% of your game happens inside of 100 yards. 40% of those are putts. The other 30%, so essentially a third of your golf game, is happening with a wedge from greenside to 100 yards. So I want to teach you a system to help predict the distance that you hit these wedges. So it's first to understand that there's really three variables that affect how far your wedge shots will fly. The first one is the quality of the contact at the bottom of the swing. We want the bottom of the swing smooth, where we're making contact on the bottom half of the face. And then launch angle. How high is this golf ball launching off the club face? If you're making swings with your wedge, in one swing the ball launches really high, the next one it goes medium, and then the next one we hit it low. If that launch angle is varying from pitch shot to pitch shot, the carry distance is going to be different. So I want to teach you how to make clean contact and get the ball launching the same off the face each time. The next variable would be the size of your golf swing. So bigger golf swings make the ball go farther compared to a small swing. The final piece would be the speed and tempo of your golf swing. We want to have consistent rhythm with our pitch shots. If we have consistent rhythm and consistent contact, all we have to do is figure out how big of a swing do we need to make the ball fly 25 yards, 50 yards, 75 yards, 100 yards. So if you have a scoring goal, you need to have a system with your wedges. I still want you to use your feel when you're out there on the golf course. I want you to use your eyes and feel the wind. But if you know that you're 75 yards away from the hole, I also want you to have a system in the back of your head knowing that it's your 56-degree wedge, shoulder high. So let's go ahead and get started, and we will talk about how to make clean contact with your pitch shots. To help you make clean contact and have a consistent launch angle, let's get on the same page with how we should stand to our wedge shots, particularly with the width of stance and where our weight is at. So with the standard full swing, we would have our ankles underneath our shoulders, our feet would be shoulder width apart. But with these short shots, I want us to go slightly more narrow. Let's place the ball in the middle of our stance, and then what we're gonna do is take our weight and put some more pressure on our left side for a right-handed golfer, your lead side. So it's about 60-40. We're not going to overdo it where we get out in front of it. When done correctly, feet slightly more narrow than shoulder width, more weight on the front side. This ball position, it's going to be just back of center. So if we drew a line straight down from the button on my shirt, my sternum, this ball is going to be an inch back of center. I see too many people put wedges too far back in their stance. So I'll see them stand like this. And now that ball is multiple inches back. What happens, they start to lean the shaft excessively forward, they start to tilt, and then they're gonna have issues with contact. So we want that ball middle of the stance, feet just inside of shoulder width, pressure on the front foot. The next idea, with these pitch shots, we want the big muscles to be the engine of this swing. And so what I mean, I want your arms and your shoulders to work as a unit. So this drill that I'm doing right here, I'm taking my right hand out and then I'm putting my left hand right behind it. And so we have a triangle shape, and we want shoulders, arms, and pretty soon the club to be moving together. And you can see my pivot, even though it's a small swing, let's say I'm only going back just past my leg, I'm gonna follow through that same amount, and my body's opening up. So when we pivot like this, and we have connection between our arms and our body, that means that the club face is going to be stable at the bottom of the swing, and the club will launch, the ball will launch at the same trajectory each time. What I see a lot though, people will stop the body with these small swings. So none of this moves, and they end up coming down, and because the body isn't moving, the momentum of the club head starts to pass the hands, and then they start launching it high, they start to hit it left. So instead of doing that, let's have shoulders, arms, and club back together, come through together, all in an effort to have that ball launch somewhere around 30 to 40 degrees. If we're going to be more specific, we want to launch it 30 to 35 degrees. So let me show you how to do that here on the simulator. I'm getting into my stance. I'm doing a small swing here, here. So this was a little swing. That flag's 50 yards away. I wasn't trying to hit it to that flag. We were just hitting a small chip shot, and it's going to tell us our launch angle over here. I just launched at 34 degrees. Okay. So we're not trying to be perfect. Let's just have some feedback with how this golf club is coming off the face. So we look at that one again. What did I launch that one? Another 34 degrees. With this next shot, instead of having solid hands through impact, I am going to stop my body and then I'm going to add loft. So then here's another short shot, this time no body. And that one I added loft. So now that one launched closer to 40 degrees. The ball went higher and it didn't go as far. So that is step one, get the stance. We'll have our feet just inside of shoulder width, the weight on the front foot. Ball will be an inch back of your sternum. From there, let's create a connection between arms and core and allow your body to pivot through when you do this. So get this first step, and then we will work on size of your swing and tempo. Let's now discuss the rhythm and the tempo that you're going to use to help you with your pitch shots. So I've downloaded an app called Tempo Tunes, and you could find this on the Apple Store. And it's like a metronome. And I have it set up here for short game, and you hear these beeps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have this on in the background. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make different size swings, keeping the same tempo, and then we're going to see how far my ball flies with a 56-degree wedge. We're going to do 3 length swings. From our good setup, we're going to do swings where we swing the handle of the club back to number 1, leg high. Number 2 would be waist high. And then number 3 would be shoulder high. So we're going to have 3 different distances. This first one is going to be leg high. So I'm going to count out loud on beat with my training aid over here, Tempo Tunes. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so we'll see that ball fly 14 yards, rolling out to 20 yards. I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. That one flew 17 yards, so similar. Now with this next shot, I am going to go to hip or waist high. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so we'll see this shot. That one flew 53 yards, rolled out a couple more. So I know when I'm swinging back to leg high, it's right around 20 yards. Hip high is right around 50. I'll do it again. So I'll do another 50-yard shot here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go. That one flew 47 yards, rolled out. I'm 50 yards away and I have a 9-foot putt. The last distance that I'm going to do, size of the swing I want to do, I want to take the handle all the way back to shoulder high. Same rhythm. This should go closer to 75 or 80. This is going to go past the hole. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So then we'll see this golf ball fly 73 yards in the air. So I have 3 different distances. I got 20 at leg high, 50 at waist high, and then closer to 70, 75 at shoulder high. So try this with your sand wedge. Try it with all your wedges, but find one that you really like. For me, I like my 56-degree wedge. I have a system there inside of 100 yards. So next part I want to show you is how to compete and how to practice on our simulators. So now that we're on the same page with how to properly stand to your pitch shots, you know that you want to have consistent rhythm, and you know how far the ball flies with different lengths in your swing. What we want to do is find a fun way to test yourself. So here at My Chicago Golf, we have some great software with Foresight. This is the main menu. Let's click the middle one. It says Compete. We're going to go to Skills Challenge, Custom Skills Challenge. And there's a variety of distances we could hit shots from. So I've loaded 25, 50, 75, and 100 yards. I'm going to, instead of doing 5 yards, we're going to go simple. I'm just going to do 2 shots from each one of these distances. So this is a proximity game, and there are points allocated for how close we hit it. So if the ball stays in the blue ring, it'll be 5 points. The middle ring, the white one, will be 3, and then the outer green one will be 1. So I'm 25 yards away. I don't want to land the ball 25 yards. I'm not trying to slam dunk it in the hole. I want to land it just short and then have it released. So I probably want to land this 20 yards. So I've done my practice in my mind. I know the tempo, 1, 2, 3. And I know 20 yards is somewhere around my leg. So I'll hit the first one, 1, 2, 3. Ball will land just short and then releases by the flag. So I got 5 points there. Just trying to recreate that same length and tempo. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. So we got 10 points there. Now this next one is 50 yards. So from my practice, I remember that 50-yard shot with my sand wedge was just right around hip high. Here's another thing, guys. Whether it's really hip high or not is irrelevant. It's about you just being able to recreate the distance. If it feels hip high to you and then you see it on video and it's actually up here, but you can recreate that feeling for 50 yards over and over again, that's fine. So it's just about being able to predict distance. So I'm 50 yards away, so I know this will be past my hip. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got a little long with it. So that one carried, let's see here, 54 yards. Okay, I want to land it closer to probably 45 to 48, so just a little smaller. I like the rhythm. 1, 2. There we go. And this is why the practice is so important. You know, I know this technique, but you have to get the reps so that way you're sharp. I know that it needs to be around here, but that one I just hit 47 yards on the dot. I'm ingraining that feel. I need more reps here, all right? What do we got here? 75. I know this is gonna be around shoulder high. Same rhythm, 1, 2, 3. That one, I got away with it. I felt like I launched it a little bit too high. Still 72 yards, so I'm 3 yards short. Okay. Let's try another one, 75 yards. There we go. All right, so we're right in there, 5 points. Now, I'm gonna go 100 yards away. I could probably get this 56-degree wedge there if I swung really hard, but then I feel like I'm losing control and I'm adding another variable. So instead of keeping the speed the same, instead of swinging really hard at this and changing the speed, I'm gonna grab my next wedge up. I'm gonna grab a gap wedge. And all I'm gonna do is recreate the exact same swing and exact same speed that I hit that 75-yard shot, except it's gonna go 100 because I have a different club in my hands. 1, 2, 3. There we go. One's up there. All right, 5 points. Last one. Same rhythm, same size swing. So my swing shoulder high with my 56 goes 75 yards. That exact same swing with the gap wedge goes 100 yards. 1, 2, 3. There we go. When you start to do this and your proximities start to get good, you're giving yourself an opportunity for birdie. Oftentimes it's happening, it's your third shot on a par 5. Maybe it's a short par 4, you just hit a great drive. We got to take advantage of these yardages inside of 100 yards. Hitting it on the green, it's not going to cut it, especially if you have goals of shooting in the 80s or shooting in the 70s. You want to stick it close, give yourself a chance for birdie. If not, then we just do a tap in par. So practice with the plan, make sure you have a good setup, make sure you're having a consistent tempo, work on the size of your swing, and then test yourself with fun games like this. So I know if you do this and you work on these wedges, this is one element of reaching career lows with your golf game. So go make it happen.